بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في حلقة أخرى من حلقات شرح لحلول الأسئلة الاسترشادية لطلبة الشهادة الثانوية. معكم لشرح أسئلة مادة اللغة الإنجليزية لقسم الأدبي. في الحلقة هذه بإذن الله هنركز على more grammar parts, grammar and vocabulary parts. حيكون grammar و vocabulary لأسئلة مأخوذة من الباب الثاني والباب الثالث. From now on, I will be speaking in English. Okay, so as I said, grammar and vocabulary questions from units 2 and 3. Okay. First of all, we will be discussing questions that are related to the topic of newspaper headlines. شو معنى newspaper headlines? Okay. Newspaper, جريدة, headlines, العناوين البارزة. Okay. So, newspaper headlines are the titles or the catchy words that they use, and usually they put on the first page of the newspaper to catch the reader's eyes so they can read the articles. Okay? هذه صفحة من الكتاب. This is a picture from your textbook. Okay, so we have the word newspaper, newspapers, headlines, okay, and then articles, مقالات. Now, before I read the question, let me explain something I did before, but I need to say it again for you guys in case you didn't see the previous episode. So when you find a number here, it means the unit. The number on this side is the question number. Okay, so Unit 2, question 21. Are the articles a, an, and the usually left out in newspaper headlines? Okay, let's look at this one as an example. What do you think? What's the answer? Yes, they are. شو معنى left out here? يعني they don't use them. Okay, يستعملوش فيهم. Next question is from Unit 3. Oopsie, let me move back. Unit 3, question number 1. Who often, and here you might say often or often, I usually say often, who often use be with the infinitive when they write newspaper articles? Okay, can you guess who writes the newspaper articles? What is the word for people who write newspaper articles? Okay? Journalists, okay? Journalists. Journalists are the people who write the articles, okay? Let's move on. Is verb to be usually left out in newspaper headlines? Okay, and you find the answer on this page? Yes, it is. So, verb to be usually is left out, means they don't use it in newspaper headlines. Now, giving advice, okay? عطاء نصيحة. Giving advice. Now, this is where it comes in your book, so you can find it on this page. We can give advice or warnings in English using particular verbs. Verb forms, okay? So here you have examples. Don't drop litter. Don't, okay? So this is advice or warning form. Don't. You should keep the streets clear. You should, okay? You should. And then you shouldn't drop litter. You shouldn't, okay? So you have advice and warnings here, okay? Or we can give advice by using particular phrases. It's a good idea, sorry, let me repeat it. It's a good idea to keep your neighborhood clean. It's a good idea to is a phrase that you can use to give some kind of advice. It's important to take your litter home. It's important not to leave litter. It's best to, okay? So you have verb forms and particular phrases. So you can use to give advice. Let's look at the questions. What verbs can we use to give advice or warning in English? We just talked about this. So what do you think? Okay, let's see. We can use these verbs: don't, should, or shouldn't. Don't, should, or shouldn't. Now, I had the blank page to move on from that part of the grammar part to a different part. Now we will look at some kind of vocabulary and some different forms or questions about grammar. What does within seconds mean? And I think I already explained this in a previous lesson, but let's look at the question anyway. So you have within seconds, the meaning of it, okay? And then this is a clue for the answer. What do you think? So very quickly. Within seconds mean very quickly. Now, this question is from Unit 2 and its number is 7. The ice is too thin for him to walk on. So here, something is wrong. That's not correct. And the question is asking you to correct it. Let's look at the clues here. Ice means ice, okay? Thin, thin, okay? Walk on, okay? So it's the word thin to walk on. What do you think? Where is the wrong part of the sentence? Let's look at, yes. So here, okay, two, you have T-double-O to say that it's so small, too thin, okay? Too thin. Oopsie. Okay, so let's move on anyway. The sand is soft, okay? Soft, enough to drive on, Is it right? Let's see. Yes, it is. Okay, an easy question. Remember this picture? So you know the answer of this question. Okay? So it's soft enough to drive on. What does unless mean? And to help you understand the meaning of unless, I have two sentences here as examples. You can't get a job unless you have experience. Okay? So here, negative part of the sentence. You can't have a job. مش هتقدر تحصل عمل. Okay? And then we have the word unless. خليها على جهة. Unless. And then you have experience. عندك خبرة. So what do you think the meaning of unless here? Okay? So, if you have experience, you can get a job. Okay? Now let's look at the other example. I can't let you in unless you wear your mask. Okay? I can't let you in. I can't let you in unless you wear your mask. Okay? So if you are wearing your mask, you will come in. Okay? So let's see, what does unless mean here? Okay? Unless means except if. إلا إذا. Okay? So you can't get a job unless you have experience. إلا إذا. I can't let you in unless you wear your mask. Okay? So remember, unless means except if. Okay? Let's move on to the other question, which is from Unit 3, and its number is 22. Give the definition of the following words: equivalent, task, loved ones, waking life, and amusing. Okay? Equivalent means equal to. Equal to. Equal to. Okay? Task, something you do. Okay, my task now is explaining to you the questions. Okay, so a job that someone needs to do, a task. In class, when we as teachers ask you to write, the writing part is a task. Okay? Family members, loved ones. It's another phrase for family members. And then waking life, hours of the day when a person isn't sleeping. Okay? When you are awake. Okay? Sorry, waking life. I guess I said waking day, but it's waking life. The final word is amusing, which means funny. That's it for today. I'll see you next time when I will be explaining the content-related questions from Unit 3. نلتقي بكم إن شاء الله في الحلقة القادمة لما بإذن الله حنشرح الأسئلة الخاصة بيونت 3. شكرا على متابعتكم ونلتقي بإذن الله. اعذرونا في شوية الأخطاء. That's because this is my first time. Thanks a lot.